What if the version of you that hit 7 figures in income isn't who you are today, but rather who you decide to become? Funnel Hacking Live 10 wasn't just another marketing event. It was the final chapter in a decade-long movement. Held in February of 2025 in Las Vegas, this 10th and final Funnel Hacking Live gathered thousands of entrepreneurs, marketers, creators, and dreamers from around the world to celebrate the legacy of the Funnel Hacking Live community sponsored by ClickFunnels, but also the future of online business and marketing as we know it today. Over 4 immersive days, plus a bonus pre-day with Dan Kennedy, and you can catch that episode on the channel as well. Attendees were taken on a transformational journey, one packed with live funnel building secrets, magnetic storytelling, and strategies for scaling your business, but also doing it with heart. This wasn't just about information. It was about identity. It was about taking action and who you are as a business leader, as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, how you serve and what legacy you are here to build. Welcome back to Chats with Jason. Today, we dive into day 1 of Funnel Hacking Live FHL 2025, an unforgettable start, packed with deep mindset shifts, tactical gold, and speaker after speaker who reminded us that success isn't about adding more, it's about becoming more. So let's unpack this transformational day that began the moments the lights dimmed and the music hit. As you would imagine, this event being sponsored by ClickFunnels, the opening keynote was by the one and only Russell Brunson. Now, Russell is the co-founder of ClickFunnels and the visionary behind the entire movement, you could say. Russell took the stage not to sell tactics, but to remind us why we started our businesses, our leadership journey in the first place. He walked us through the hero's journey framework, but with a twist. Your journey in your audience's roadmap. He explained the true beginning of success is when you answer the call to contribution. That uncomfortable tug in your heart, the one that says, there's more for me. That's not resistance, it's your assignment. Russell encouraged everyone to stop running from fear and to start running towards their purpose. He broke down the 3 faiths that you must build. So here they are. First, you need a faith in your purpose. You're not here by accident. Your story has shaped you to serve someone, usually the version of yourself from 3 to 5 years ago. Faith in your guide. Choose your mentor and trust the path they lay out. Clarity and success come from consistency. And he made a really valid point here. If we go and try and take advice from guru number 1, guru number 2, and guru number 3 and mash them together, we're not going to be as successful as if we say, okay, this is the guru, this is the thought leader, this is the mentor that I'm going to follow. And when I've achieved my goals that I set out with this mentor, then and only then will I go and look for my next level mentor, my next level inspiration. Because his point, and I agree with it, is that if we take what we think is the best elements of multiple people and try and mash them together without testing, without delivering, without actually having the connections between all of those elements, we're more likely to lead to failure. And when we look at a potential mentor and see all the success he or she's had, it's not because only 20% of what they talk about and what they did works, and the rest of the 80% just is busy work. It's their total framework. It's their package that has made them successful. So we're really encouraged to have a mentor, be inspired by others, but to get clarity around who it is that you're going to take your lead from when it comes to your next steps and next growth. He also reminded us that the third thing that we need to have faith in is ourselves. Even if you feel like an imposter now, take action anyway, because confidence grows from execution. Russell wrapped up his energy-packed, almost speed dating keynote presentation with a powerful insight. Small, consistent action creates massive ripple effects. In my world, I'd explain it like this. Be 1% better, move forward 1% every single day, and that will have a significant compounding impact on your ability to achieve success and the impact you have on the world around you, than by stopping and starting, half-assing it if you like. So small, consistent actions create massive ripple effects. He showed how tiny events and imperfect beginnings turned into global impact because he chose to stay the course. His talk was a soul-level reset for leaders and entrepreneurs chasing quick wins. Following Russell, we were delighted by some amazing speakers, and first up was McCall Jones. Now, McCall has her own programs, of course. I'd encourage you to go check them out. She's very much about charisma hacking, and I haven't delved really deeply into her work, but she has some really powerful messages, and I definitely think her work is worth checking out. Now, McCall Jones up next brought the crowd into the practical magic of making offers feel like transformations. As the founder of Charisma Hacking, she teaches creators to sell with emotional resonance, not just sales scripts. So don't try to be Tony Robbins. Don't try to be Russell Brunson. Don't try to be Dan Kennedy. Be authentic to you, and people connect to that. Her key message was the offer isn't a bundle, it's a journey. You're selling people on a journey of transformation. She taught us how to Cookie-ify, structure your offer so each piece solves the next problem. Think in story arcs, not product stacks. To give you an example, if your offer is to help people get more leads, what's a challenge more leads is going to give them? It could be they need a good CRM system or a good campaign to nurture those leads, right? So think of solving the core problem, and then solving that problem, what new problems are created, and give them all the pieces of the cookie. The next one was Timeline-ify. Present the offer in the order your customers will experience their problems. So no leads, I fix that, I get you leads. Now you've got a problem of not having a CRM system, so then we fix that problem. Now you've got a CRM system, you might have a problem around how you use that system, so I've got a fix for that. Present the offer in the order your customers will experience their problems and help them see themselves moving forward, always forward. And then Charisma-ify your offering by using your natural communication style. Are you a steady? Are you a fix or a mirror? Do you light the path? Do you lift people up, or do you lead them? And by doing so, you build trust and connection. Don't copy others, convert by being fully you. Now, McCall drove home this point, that people don't want more stuff. They want to feel seen, safe, and supported. Now, her talk wasn't just strategy, it was a permission slip for authenticity. I remember sitting in the audience as McCall spoke, and it reminded me that it is so easy to communicate when you are communicating in your natural style as opposed to trying to follow someone else's style or mimic them. Understand your charisma style, understand your communication style, your leadership style. Lean into it, and you will be a more effective communicator. Lean into it, and you'll be a more effective business leader. Lean into it, and you'll be more successful. Now, after McCall, we had Elliott. Now, Andy was perhaps not a speaker that I would normally have considered booking for an event. He certainly wasn't someone that I was familiar with. His energy was high, his message was powerful, but he just wasn't someone that I would normally have connected with. But having said that, his message was very important. It was intense and unforgettable, that's for sure. And his message is that you are never stuck. You can reinvent yourself every single day. Now, during his impactful, energetic presentation, Andy shared how he went from disconnected, unhealthy, and underpaid to being a leader with a global audience. He didn't just transform physically, he reprogrammed his mind to expect more. And during his presentation, he challenged all of us in the room, and so I challenge you listening and watching along now, what would happen if you raised your standards? And your standards are those that you are not prepared to walk past. So if you say you've got a standard of cleanliness, yet you let rubbish that misses the trash can just sit on the ground, then you don't have a standard of cleanliness. Because if it was a standard, you would have picked it up and popped it in the trash can. So the standard is, what is that bar that you're not willing to go below? And what happens if you raised it? What if success didn't require sacrifice of your family, but the integration of them? And what if being too much was actually your advantage? His mantra, if they don't like my family, they're not my customer. Andy's section turned the room very emotional as he shared some very deep personal stories, but he reminded everyone that the grind means nothing if it costs you your values. Real success is bringing the people you love with you, not leaving them behind for a revenue goal. Very powerful, emotive presentation. But his very key messages was, you can reinvent yourself. It starts today. And it starts by setting and maintaining a standard higher than what you accept today. And that's a standard for yourself as well as others in your life. Andy was followed by the one and only Myron Golden. Now, Myron took the stage and grounded us in the math of miracles, how money is simply the outcome of creating repeatable, scalable value. Now, I have to say, I loved Myron's presentation and loved all of his time that he spent during the event. He laid out his equation. Mindset plus skill set plus tool set equals assets. Myron's 4-tiered offer system gave structure to everything we learned. Lead generation offers, your list building magnet that keeps speaking to the pain that you solve. He said you've got to have one. You have to have a lead generation offer. You need to build a list. A core product offer, the bread and butter of your income, whatever that might be, whether it's books, courses, programs, speaking. But what is your core product? And then a premium value offer, results focused, mid to high ticket that transforms. So you can have a free resource, you have perhaps a low ticket offer or low to medium ticket offer that helps people with knowledge and what to do. And then you have a transformational offer, which is the high ticket offer. But the breakthrough that he really shared with us was that the reminder that value is emotional. People don't buy your product, what your product does, but buy what it means to them. He walked us through how perceived avoids past regrets, present frustrations, and future fears drive buying behavior. Your job is to understand those emotional gaps better than anyone else, and then show up with the solution that fills them. Now, during Myron's presentation, he gave an example of how to multiply the value of your work. So he gave an example. You write a book. You make money off that book for as long as it's sold, the physical book itself. Then you might create a course about that book. which helps people take that next step. Because even if the book has all the steps you need to take into it, not everyone's going to take those steps and put them into action. Some people will want a guided course to help them. So you have a course. That keeps selling for as long as you have a course. You might also have a keynote presentation that you sell based on the intellectual property, the mindset, the outputs of what you put into that book. Because that book becomes your asset. You make money off it as a book. You make money off it potentially as a course, as a keynote program, or maybe even a mastermind. His point was that as you create these assets, and it's not your first book, it's every book. It's not your first course, it's every course. They can live in perpetuity. They keep building your worth. They keep generating income and stacking your value. He really challenged us to not look at a product that you create in isolation, but how it becomes part of a product suite around that intellectual asset, that physical asset that you've created. So that's a really quick rundown on day one of Funnel Hacking Live. And it wasn't just a day of marketing, it was a day of transformation. Russell reminded us of our mission. McCall Jones showed us how to make offers that feel like destiny. Andy proved that we can become something new. And Myron gave us the financial blueprint to make it real. The radical with you is already there. Day one just gave you permission to lead. So as we wrap up day one of Funnel Hacking Live here on Chats with Jason, if today reminded you who you are meant to be, then don't just take notes, take action. Remember, Reinvention is available to you today. Build a brand that serves the version of you from 5 years ago. Craft offers that transform. Speak with charisma that's true to who you are. And above all, take people with you on the ride. Because when you improve the experience, you improve your business and the world around you. I'll see you in the next episode.